I almost see this one like a grudge match. Welcome back to the channel, folks. We've got Kilyardi going up against Beasty. And the reason I see it like a grudge match is because in my mind, I can never get that 6 villager at 36 minutes game out of my head when I think of these two. Kilyardi, I'm sorry to do you like that, buddy. As you can probably guess, he was the one with 6 villagers at 36 minutes. But you know what? I see that as an opportunity, a redemption, an arc to recover and prove that you can dominate the Beast. Because Beasty, he may be a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more exposed right now. I mean, usually we talk about this guy in the top 3, but if you guys didn't notice with the summer tournament, he didn't make the the semifinals rather. He got knocked out in quarterfinals by Anachad for people 3-0. So Kilyardi may be able to pounce on that weakness on a pub game or two. We are going to be on Carmel. Sunken Lands. Haha, I done it to myself. Yeah, Sunken Lands is a little bit more forgiving than Carmel, a little bit more flexibility. The Byzantine pick, pretty decent here. I think can work. The D are close enough that you can kind of contest them if your opponent comes from pro scouts. On the other side, actually, we don't even have a pro scout Civ. Instead, Beasty has opted to go for the Ayubids. Interesting choice. Ayubids can make a lot of sense here, though. It's a fairly open map past the initial tree lines, so like raiding-oriented follow-ups and focus on relics makes a lot of sense, as a lot of the relics are in the center of the map. They're not necessarily behind walls and tree lines where they can't be grabbed. Not only that, Beasty kind of hit the jackpot here, guys. That's a back spawn with a lot of deer. Yeah, I mean, do I need to double check the names? We obviously had to update Kilyardi's to be Kilyardi because he's playing under the name The Moo right now. I'm starting to wonder if, like, the same Lou, the same fort, we should probably check if Beastie's maybe secretly Marine Lord, because that is a ridiculous spawn. Only negative is the Ford gold, but he got the 4K on the back. Like, the only thing I'd say, like if you really wanted to be fussy and you were like, oh, my steak needs to be absolutely perfect, and you didn't crisp the fries, you'd ask for this tree line to be a little bit closer to the east side, but that's super extreme nitpicking, right? Like, overall, this is a really solid spawn. On the other side, Byzantines, they did get the double berry back, which is really nice, and it's a very wallable area. So I'd say, you know, Kilyardi got enough out of this, and also a great Grand Winery location, technically, right? Like, you can just drop it here, and that's going to be behind your TC setting up your farm. So, you know, this is actually the dream on both sides, I want to say. Yeah, because remember, the curse is having forward berry spawns. Forward berries means you have to basically worry about an outpost rush, or just general aggro that force outposts to be built by you. But backwards berry spawn means you can just drop the Grand Winery, maybe even a little bit looser close to the tree line, and then you can eventually just flesh it out with farms behind your TC. You know it's niche, but what kind of mercs we got? Oh no. This again. So we have been seeing a little bit more of it. There's Chiganu and War Elephants. On the other side, there's Sipahi and Arbitrier. Sipahi Arbitrier could actually be pretty interesting, actually, if you get to that deep state of the game, just because both of these units counter a lot of what Ayyubids like to do. And you know what? It might feel a lot better for this. We've got Imperial Hippodrome. Okay. This is starting to catch on a little. And part of me is just kind of scratching my head as to why, to a certain degree. Right? Like, I think it's decent, but not crazy. Usually I'd think of this in map shops where you're worried about civs that can, like, block your Pro Scouts plays. Right? So, you know, civs that require you to go into a Pro Scout blocker, rather. But Ayyubids isn't really one of them. Yeah, and if anything with Logistics Wing, I think this is like a fast castle build. This just reeks of Kilyardi, right? Like, this is the guy that loves to attack, attack, attack. And in theory, Hippodrome is meant to do that. What a curious build. And for Loggy Wings, I'm a little bit surprised Loggy Wing has remained as popular as it was. A big part of what made this wing so good was the deer shove. And deer shoving, remember, has been absolutely nerfed. But it does give you some presence and pressure if you choose, right? So, like, if you see your opponents trying to play the age a bit, you can add in a few Desert Raiders and just priority down targets one by one while healing your own Desert Raider and then tech. Or if you see your opponent isn't aggroing you at all, then you just straight up tech, right? Like, you know, no dust off the desk, no chips off the shoulder. And he is going to go for a little baby deer shove here. Hippodrome doesn't make hippos. I mean, like, can we just be real about this? I don't want to fat shame a hippo because Actually, they're not elephants. They won't remember. But that doesn't look like a door that's big enough to get a hippo out of it, if we're being totally real. Also, where's the water, you know? I guess you got the troughs outside, but that's not really enough for a hippo. Could you imagine if they actually added hippo warriors to the game? Just like people riding on hippo back? I can't believe I just used the term hippo back. I'm trying to think what other absurd creatures could we represent in Age of Empires 4 that could actually fit, that isn't just like too far-fetched. I do like the idea of like a Houndmaster. Yeah. Crocodiles, crocodiles can be hard to tame, right? But a Houndmaster is a pretty cool idea, right? Just a unit that unleashes the hounds. No, horseman riding in. Isn't going to be able to do anything here. It looks like we actually got a horseman opening from BC as opposed to the Desert Raiders. I think this is all about tempo and timing. If you go for the Desert Raider, it takes substantially longer to get the first one out in the field. And also, this is just about bulking, right? Like, if you see the Hippodrome play, you're like, oh no, if I just build into a Desert Raider, he can prio fire with the Horseman. But if I have 1 or 2 Horsemen, he can't just attack the Desert Raider straight away, right? It makes the micro muddy. Some attempts at dish shoving the looks of it. We've got Longbowman being queued up. So Kiliardi is going to look to just target fire down Desert Raiders when they come range. This makes sense. Like, you know, if you go full melee blob, you're never going to kill the Dervish. It's almost impossible. Like, in theory, with Hippodrome, you might be able to pinch them, but difficult to do. Behind this, Beasty has gathered a lot of gold, by the way. Yeah, overgathering at this stage. You can see what the real original intent was and how things changed. Right? Like, it felt like the goal was just to get castle fast, and then he was forced to add in 2 horsemen, and now 3 Desert Raiders. And that burns through the food a lot quicker than the gold. And, wait, is he... Okay, puzzled me a little bit surprised there. I did not expect survival techniques to be this late, considering the macro. Even if you're rushing castle, it has to be something that feels quite desirable, considering just how cheap survival techniques is. Yeah, only 100 resources, 25 seconds. It pays off really quick. Maybe there was some paranoia. BC was like, oh, I don't think I'll be able to get out on the deer because I can see that you're bringing horsemen. But then he realized he's winning the initial battle. And that convinced him he could get away with it. That's the possibility here. It might also just simply be that Beasty looked up, saw the miss macro, and went, yo, I've got way too much gold. I haven't got enough food. So the clear, obvious thing to fix that problem is to get more food. Wait, crocodile textures exist in the game? Really? Huh. Have they actually been used anywhere, though? I don't think they have, right? All right, hear me out. What if we put, like, a giant mirror on the top of the... No, we're not going... No. We're not stealing laser gators from Age of Mythology. I'll be real, you guys, though. I would totally rock a Total War game that is basically Age of Empires... sorry, Warhammer game, rather, that's totally Age of Empires skinned as Warhammer. Just imagine Kislev with the Bear Riders. Oof. Well, how about the Pony Riders here? Horseman jumping in. Doesn't get the second pick. We'll chase through, but Desert Raiders are in position. Beastie is prepping for the tech up. Just needs to minimize the losses here. The Dervish is designed to do exactly that. He even gets the shivs out. Yeah, this is the infuriating nature of camel unease being on a Dervish. I mean, the Desert Raiders are there anyway, right? But these horsemen, they couldn't even pluck a single worker kill. At that point, they were almost doing the same damage as the villagers. Mongols used birds to set fire to cities? Sheesh. Alright, so what you're saying is we need to have like eagles, actually. We need something bigger. We need them big enough to carry a bucket of oil. And then we need a flaming arrow ability, and we're done. The Dervish needs it? Why does the Dervish need it? Bro, are you kidding me? Like, I'm over here struggling to pay my mortgage each month, and this guy has like a mobile home, right? He's got a mobile home for 2 people. And he's got a companion for life. He even gets a giant stick. And I don't even get a sub so far on this stream. I mean, honestly, and you're telling me dervishes need more things in life. Nice try, sucker. Growth wing coming through. Nice to see growth come out, actually. We've been seeing a lot of recurring Desert Raider military wing at the moment, but like it doesn't really make much sense when your opponent has Horseman Longbow plus Spears. Like he pretty much has every unit imaginable to try and counter you. So just go growth, get eco ahead, and also kind of necessary when you're up against this system timing, right? Like we're approaching level 5 now, just past 10 minutes. A little bit slow for Byzantine standards, but that's because of the fact that he leans so hard into Horsemen. And these are indeed ranked games. These are legends from the ladder. Horseman's still poking, so he's just trying to check that right now Kilyardi's being honest to the age, not trying to greedily tech up like he is. Still, kind of awkward how far he's having to come home, right? Like, bringing the Horseman as well when you have Spear Longbow seems a little bit overkill. Probably just felt that he couldn't do anything on the other side, but what worries me is, like, reacting to this here, you're now giving an opening. And Beasty's getting ready to take it. Yeah, he's got a Desert Raider out on the west side. Another one to the north, so 2 relics to be dragged straight away upon tech up. And Kilyardi is on the wrong side of the map, still being baited to stay there. Beasty. I mean, at this point to Kilyardi, this should be dead obvious. Like, why would he run back in alone with the sheep when I just kind of blocked him out? Problem is, even if you know it, how do you now reach it? Because it's going to take way too long to move across the map with how fast dervishes move. Is it a recorded video? No, we're live casting. The game happened earlier, but this is not a recording. We're not at lunch. You know what I had the other day that's pretty banging though, guys? It was a Parmigiano Reggiano. Reggiano Parmigiano? I forget this term. Pizza with marinated chicken. Huh. But you know what I really... You know what my favorite cheese on pizza ever is? It's actually relevant to this game. That's right. This is going to be the how did KP get it back on course thing. Feta. Feta cheese on a pizza is probably the best cheese pizza experience I've had. I think that one also had Gorgonzola on at the same time. So Camelance is now coming out, and Kilyardi, he was thinking about stepping up, but there's just no point. Just tech up instead. He's prepping to wall the corner. This is pretty popular with Byzantines on this map due to the guaranteed double berry in the corner. It also eliminates extra resource from your opponent by securing the deer and the boar. Boar, of course, doesn't matter to Beasty, but it does matter to you. The record of Genghis using 1,000 cats and 1,000 swallows to set flame to a sea. Wait, but what? I'm confused. What did the cats have to do with setting fire to the sea? Like, I at least get the birds. They fly overhead, you set them on fire, they fall down, set fire to things. But the cats we need to talk about. Because the only way that would make sense is if he's catapulting, haha, the cats in, but they've already been set on fire, which is just immensely cruel. Right, at that point, he's there going, okay, guys, so this is a viable strategy, and this is how we will take the city. Guys, does anyone else take issue with Genghis's plan here? Because it doesn't seem like there's any reason for us to care about cats. It's like, but Rohim, it's catapult. Get it? Catapult. It's good. Okay, but still, why are we catapulting the cats? And then it just eventually the guy has to like confront him. Genghis, do you just hate cats? No. What would give you that idea? I don't know, like you do have 5 pet dogs. Like I'm pretty sure Genghis just hated cats, guys. Which is why he avoided Egypt. Doesn't want to deal with the place where the cats have been empowered. All right, well, how about the place where the camels have been empowered anyway? Because we're up to 4 relics. Only 1 left to grab. I mean, Kilyardi has eyeballs on it, but it's already pretty disastrous, right? Like, you're out of position again after the camel lancers rotate you around. And now by the time you'd arrive, an army's on the way, so, like, Kilyardi's kind of up Crap's Creek without a paddle right now. He doesn't have Grand Winery. The Hippodrome Triumph hasn't really had a purpose so far. And because he doesn't have Grand Winery, the olive oil transition is going to be slow and arduous. The other side, Beasty, of course, isn't playing a Civ that does great at these farm transitions, but he's got some runway and also some wiggle room now that he's got 5 relics to boost his economy. Not to mention the attempts at multiple worker kills, but Camel Lancers are going to get contested by the Horsemen and the Akratoi villagers. Yeah, not really the comp you'd expect to deal with Camel Lancers, but they do what they must. There's also recorded use of fire pigs. Oh, yeah, no, I know about the fire pigs. So the whole idea with the fire pigs is it was a much smaller army. And actually, I think it was fire pigs. They also don't have donkeys. So much bigger army that had elephants in it as well. And what they've done is they set fire to the pigs, slapped them on the ass and sent them in. You'd think just being on fire would scare them enough to make them run. When the elephants saw the fire, they freaked out, panicked, turned around, and ran through their own army, massacring their people. And yeah, I believe that was replicated later with donkeys as well. On this, yeah, I don't think anyone really expected to tune into a Kilyardi Beasty game and just get the full, we should probably report this to PETA treatment. It's like the Horsemen are going to be able to shut down the Lancer over here, and the area is still not secure, so he will pull the next villager, and then we're going to see a pivot onto the west side. Really important as well, because Kilyardi just doesn't have great long-term food here. Double Sacred Site is also problematic. Is Kilyardi's army good enough to contest the enemy? I think the cataphracts are going to be an interesting variable, because he can use them to basically bait all the archer fire onto him. Let's see if he does it. Flash comes in. Pretty much just standing his ground right now. And there we go. Trample through. And that should draw fire. It means the Beastie, yeah, the moment he tries to A-click, look what happens instead. All fire goes onto the Caddis. So Camel Lancers do have to pull back. They're going to mirror the move from the Cataphracts. But that now opens up the longbows to clear out the archers. Good micro by Beastie, moving across to deal with the spearmen. But more cannons are arriving, and the ponies just came in. Triumph still running as well for about another, 20 seconds. Should be good enough to mop up the archers, and then it's just on the longbows to try and finesse their way through the last of the Camel Lancers. Yeah, kind of an awkward moment, an uncomfortable moment. I mean, Beastie will have to reset because he's close to the enemy base. He just doesn't have any pump left. But Kilyardi, a very expensive fight considering the limited olive oil he has. Right, this is not your standard Byzantine game where they get 2 to 3 relics and they can afford a remax. He's down to 10 lombos with not much wiggle room to increase. Ayyubid looking good this season? I feel like Ayyubid's never really looked trash. Ayyubid's is more of a tempered pick. You don't just punt it out there. You have to have a strategic idea in mind and understand what your opponent is going to pick. And that's how you can get like a big edge, right? Looks like we are going to split them up. Makes sense. Both these civs love berries, right? What is the next move here? Wait, no, not that move. Why are we... If you ever needed more proof that the Talisman sucks, he's prioritizing the ram first. No, seriously though. This landmark, I think this landmark has just been subtly sitting there waiting to be fully leveraged for a long time. We've been seeing a decent amount of it in Ayyubid games. It's just not a staple. It's more situational. But the thing you have to remember is this particular siege weapon was considered absolute trash. But the reason it was considered absolute trash was the Springald meta. Springald's got changed 2 seasons ago, folks. And I think there is an argument that this is still being slept onto a certain degree. I don't think it's OP. I don't think it belongs in every game. But there are games where Tower of Sultan makes a lot of sense. For example, like ones where your opponent's going to be relying heavily on lombos can feel pretty great. Do need to be a little bit careful of the Limitane factor, just because although they're slowed right now, we can see they've got the teardrop shields, which allows them to just accelerate. Yeah, like I think one of the big things as well is... I wonder if they actually are that appealing as a civ from an aesthetical standpoint. Like, if you had to pick a civ you wanted to play and you look at this civ, you're like, yeah, this looks fun. some people love camels, but one thing I will say about them is like the nature of the wings is for an average gamer, I'd say a lot more punishing than the design of other cities. Does that make sense? Like at the highest level, when you understand how to use these timings, right? These one-offs like getting, you know, instant blacksmith upgrades or getting your hands on a bunch of trade options or getting a few villages. Very powerful at the highest level. For like a casual gamer, I think a lot of casuals don't like being put on the clock the same way. Like instead of seeing the upside of like, yo, I can use this to get a huge advantage if I do something now, instead they think, oh man, I want to do this, but now you're making me do that. Nice little that to be doing over here. Looks like the ram is going to get taken out, but the camel lancers are in, folks. So villager losses for Kilyardi in a game where he's beginning to fall further and further behind. Yeah, between the growth wing and the kills, it's really starting to show. And Systems can only do so much for you. The other problem here is Kilyardi, because he doesn't have max groves, he can't just say, yeah, let's do 2TC, right? 2TC would feel quite expensive here. Yeah, especially because Beasty hasn't revealed the fact he's done free TC? Okay, like this is, I mean, you're kind of opening yourself up to aggro from an aggressive player here. Beasty with the free TC build. I mean, we've seen it a lot in the past from Ayyubids. I thought 2TC would be good enough. I wonder if he suspects his opponent of town centering up. And now the triple tower of the Sultan on the move in. Now, he does have cataphracts, so the idea here is that cataphracts can trample past the siege weapons, and then Limitane can gap close. It's still a very tanky target, though. 800 HP. Remember, it doesn't have that siege vulnerability that Rams do. Flash comes in. Trying to give chase here. Trample through from the cataphracts. They have got the buff as well, so the Triumph is going to allow them to keep chasing. Also gives them bonus damage and offsets this pathetic archer damage. And does give him the blocker to stop the retreat. Beasty, full explosions, but no blast radius damage here. No. So loses free Tower of the Sultans, and now look at the military count. This is Beasty's own damn fault as well. Remember, he went free TC despite having over a 20 worker lead. It does mean there's going to be an opening here. Kilyardi, you have to see if you can strike at it. I mean, he'll see the stone gathering on the front side, and he'll see that it's low. He won't see a castle, and that's when he should get suspicious. Does he see it? Yeah, okay, yeah, he has eyeballs on. He knows about the stone. He's going to look to mop up the archers. Second wave's coming in. It's going to be the Lombos to chase onto the workers. Finally, Kilyardi's able to double his worker kill count. That's right, he was sitting on one this whole time. But there's plenty of workers exposed in the area. He's going to turn around for the outpost. Lombo's not diving deeper. I mean, the tricky thing here is he doesn't have a scout. Just run ahead and have a look at what he's dealing with. Yeah, Lombos are pretty much the only thing providing him with vision right now. And this would be the time to strike. I mean, Beasty, he's at the infant point of the farm transition, only 11 in, with limited berries left over. It's like, if you were going to go, now would be the absolute time to go. You know, this is like when dad tells you to use the bathroom before you start driving, because we're going to be driving for a few hours, right? Like, if you don't do damage now, Beasty's just going to hunker down and play that greedy late game. And why not? I mean, you've got 5 relics and free TC. I mean, why shouldn't I just hunker down? Rombos are hunting, but unable to find the target. Also, Sacred Sites haven't been decapped. That's a very big oversight coming out of Kilyardi. I think we've got maybe someone who's a bit too much of a fan of Select All Army right now. Castle drops are going to be coming in, so we'll be able to block that in the future. But like right now, sure, the timer isn't close to completing, but you're just giving your opponent resources that you absolutely don't need to. On a map where gold is usually quite limited as well. TC does get cleared. Okay. Yeah, but now this is the really important question, guys. Does Kilyardi know about the third TC? Because they were built at the same time. I'm not sure he's aware. 2TC in his brain kind of makes sense. When he saw the 3 Tower Sultans, he's probably like, okay, yeah, like that explains it. 2TC economy, not free, right? Because that would take too much out of the push. But the good news is, Kilyardi's a player isn't the one to typically say, okay, I've done enough. Sleepy time, let me go build TCs. He likes his sleepy time, but he likes to earn it permanently by killing you. So don't be surprised if he still reveals the third TC. The tricky part now, though, is the castle. Great drop by Beasty. It just prevents snooping eyes from finding what they need to. He will just fall back now, and that's a bad sign for him. Reminder, guys, this is not as simple as my opponent stuck in the corner, my opponent loses the game. It's 5 relic Ayyubid. Not to mention the farms has pretty much been fleshed out now. We're talking about 33 farms and climbing. Once he's at 45-50, his mass horseman strategy is fine. He can just keep pumping it non-stop. While Kilyardi, I think, is still quite light. Okay, not too bad. He's at 21 olive groves, so it is climbing. So when you play these type of situations, by the way, as like Byzantines, against Ayyubids, like late game isn't necessarily your enemy. It does feel weaker without Grand Winery. And I think one thing that usually gets glazed over and forgotten about with Ayyubids is that late game is actually really impressive. The early late game sucks, right? Like once they just tech up into Imperial, it's not the same as other civs with the unlocks into certain unique techs, economically, etc., that benefit you. But late Imp, when you're talking about some of the landmark choices you can make, when you're talking about Ghoulems and you're talking about Desert Raiders, right? The benefits, the buffs, Mamluk's bravery as well. Like, these are things that scale very well into the hyper late. Mangoes. Nice attempt, but the Cataphracts dive in. Heavy hit, though. Kilyardi didn't try to dodge and weave. He will be able to get the Mango kills in time here. But this was an expensive dive. Look at the military count. He lost, like, what, about a third of longbows? Maybe more. And now with the TC plus the Fortress, no doubt about it, Beasty is not going to die to this. Yeah, Kilyardi, I mean, maybe rushing what he was looking for a little there. This is always the weird thing about playing Cataphracts, though. Like, it's a bit of a gamble. When you dive in with Catas like this, you need to have the second wave to assist, otherwise they get target fired down. So, like, I get the idea, but unfortunately for him, kind of feels like what Kilyardi needed was maybe a little bit of poke damage from the other side of the tree line initially to try and whittle away at the troopers. Beasty now with a lofty military lead, almost 3xing the enemy side, not to mention the eco lead. I mean, Beasty, with 52 crossbows, I feel like you go, right? I'd be kind of surprised if he just falled back and teched. Then again, he has to deal with these keeps and Mangonel placements. So, like, I guess, yeah, you either have to go for the Rams and blitz through them, or you're going back to Greed. And I like that he's actually choosing to address them. Notice the way he's addressing them, though, guys. There's still an issue on the map for Beasty. Do you see it? Where's he getting gold? It is just passive gold here. This is only saving grace right now, which means this crossbow count that he's inflated to almost 60 was very expensive on the Waller. And the idea of teching is even more so, right? Because you're going to have to elite these up. That's going to be 700 gold. Then you're going to have all the other things that come alongside it, like the initial cost. He just doesn't have that wiggle room right now. So smartly instead plays into the enemy, and Kilyardi, with the reaction speed of a goldfish, is going to lose all the gold workers. I mean, I guess the goldfish didn't want to leave the gold, and all of a sudden the ram can clear the way here. Good denial point. Still 1,500 gold left over on this left side. Not to mention the lofty 3.8k next to it. Chose the perfect position to try and stake a claim on. He's backing up, though. Okay, color me a little bit surprised. I think it's the Mangonel emplacement, though. Yeah, it just scares him away. All right, maybe he is not going to get simple access to gold. Like, it kind of looked like it should have been, right? Like, the door was wide open. Good God. I mean, DC has to claim gold soon. I don't blame him for this, but it's so risky. Running to the opposite side of the map. Then again, like, he has disposable income in terms of villages, right? Like, he has disposable villages to throw around. Army. Slightly caught out, though. Triumph has been activated. And this is just crossbows and a small handful of horsemen. Yeah, so perfect situation. Kilyardi able to just push him back. Yeah, it takes so much effort just to kill off a single unit here, right? You're fully target firing down a horseman at a time. And the longbows just trade out well against you. And awkward timing as well, because Beasty, he brought the villagers out. He doesn't have the stone for a castle drop. He's going to have to back away. Oh, and this is like snowbally, right? As you start to lose more and more of this crossbow mass, your DPS exchange just gets worse and worse at a rapid pace. So it looks like he's going to be put back in the corner again. Didn't I just see a comment about this will probably be over in 5 minutes? Yeah, you're starting to see the conundrum, right? Like, if Beasty was playing a Civ that had extra gold sources, like taxation or your HRE with double relic gold, yeah, like, it's very clean cut, very easy. But Kilyardi, despite the awkward parts of the other game, the thing he's done remarkably well is just restricted gold at a critical point. Now, it's going to eventually become a problem for him. He's done a good job of avoiding it, by the way, by not really producing too many gold-oriented units, only the cataphracts. And wow, BC. What? Okay. What a curious choice here. I mean, he brought the villagers all out into the center of the map and couldn't do anything with them. So instead of walking back on finite resources to try and tap it, this makes a lot more sense just to come over here. And really important because, you know, in terms of fat tree lines, you get free, typically. So you're taking out like a third of your opponent's focused wood resource. Treb's now being queued up. So Beasty realized the rams are just turning into a bit of a burner in his pocket. And wood does eventually become its own limited resource. Like, Trebuchet is now going to force Kilyardi to be in a position where he'd have to dive to address it. And yeah, reminder, like, this is a pub game. We literally said nowhere that it was a tournament game. Beasty, he's getting ready for an age up. Desert Raiders? Desert Raiders are part of what makes Ayyubid good in hyper late game Imperial, by the way. Remember, it's a horseback unit that benefits from multiple techs. Not only biology, but also the incendiary arrows and the silk bowstrings. Like, free techs it benefits from. There are not many units that can flex that, especially units that are both melee and ranged, and that's why it is indeed going to be military wing reinforcement locked. Meanwhile, Kilyardi, about to lose a castle, and is nowhere near ready for an age up himself. Yeah, he's gone big boy military again. Which is surprising because he actually subtly done a second TC up against the edge of the map over here. I mean, it shouldn't take him long to catch up. He's at 46 olive groves in total. He has got enough gold still in his territory to mirror the age up. Yeah, with this type of olive oil, like, options start to open up, right? If your opponent is going to go Desert Raiders, funnily enough, Nesta Bees looks really good there. Remember, the Desert Raiders have the range tag, so Nesta Bees actually clear them quite fast. Tell you what, that was an ambitious group of horsemen. Like, yeah, we can take on the long... Oh, there's a lot of them. I just realized we're in Agincourt. We didn't even wear the armor. It's actually a good Agincourt movie now that I think about it. I saw clips from that one with Timothy... I always forget his last name. Is it Chalamet? Playing the king. Very scrawny king. I never got around to watching it, though. I've seen one or two clips that were hilarious. But apparently, history nerds molded about it because it wasn't even remotely accurate. BC's over-leveraged his eco because he wants to sap up the map. You know, it's quite funny because I remember, like, talking with BC a long time ago, like, back on his, like, take on B in his playstyle. And this is back when Mongolian Heights was used in tournaments. Seems like B prefers to essentially, like, hoover the map. He likes to just suck it dry, and that's where he's comfortable. And that fit, right? Like, B's history as a Zerg player, like, Zerg players typically play that way. They try to boom beyond their opponent's confinements and get more eco to win the game. Well, the hilarity is, when you actually look at the way these two play Age of Empires 4 historically, it's the other way around. Where B doesn't really play to hoover the map. He plays to these aggro timings or these cheeky strategies, while Beasty just tries to take everything off the map. Now, talking of aggro, Kilyardi's had enough of this crap. The age up completed, and he wants damage done. This is a difficult dive, though. The castle drop is really the blocker again. He hasn't brought any siege to the equation to deal with that. He's going to activate the Triumph, but it's a short-lived Triumph. It is going to find its way onto the farms, and oh my god, what a nice strike. It would have been if you haven't just freed up space for more military. Remember, we just talked about Beasty overburdening when it comes to villager count. In a weird way, Kiliardi's now helping him. He did at least have Exploratorius, so there was some gold in it for the Finn. And it has enabled him to go for what is that choice? That's crazy. That's absolutely wild. So a decent amount of worker kills gained there. Remember, he got 30 per. I think he killed like, what, 30 villagers or so, it feels like, with that dive. So that would have ended up being 900 gold, right? But Palatine School, I don't know if it's all the gold search he got from the horseman kills, but like it's given him this false sense of I have gold to work with. Palatine School really is heavily about do you have gold because of Rangian and Cataphracts and Kira Siphons. The only thing that you can get extra units of that wouldn't cost gold is Limitane. And we are talking about a map that isn't necessarily good for trading. Very hard to trade on, actually, due to the more centralized locations of those posts. For Beasty, happy to take this clash now. He has got the Elite Desert Raider upgrade. And, I mean, Kiliardi, he may have done some damage on the dive, but it really didn't show. And now, instead, you're still finding yourself 20 eco behind, but a whole army behind as well. You've still got some troopers wrapping around the back, but not enough to do damage. And, yep, Beasty, he's almost done with that tree line. God, this guy's like me with these woodworkers are like me with a doner kebab on a Friday night. Whew. Just gobbled the whole goddamn thing up. And the hilarious part is it actually didn't really last very long. You can see by the wood count, but I think that's because most of his woodworkers were there, right? So it's not like he's had two different areas. I am a bit disappointed we do not have the final wood gathering tech, though. Just to really stick it to him faster. And there isn't any other small tree line, but there are ones behind this, right? So you can still play around the castle safely and take more wood. Yeah, this feels like a drain game. I mean, with the way BC's played this, could he have ended it sooner? I don't think it's as much that he, could have ended it sooner. I think actually Kiliardi done a good job of defending the way he defended earlier on and then going on the offensive. So, like, this isn't as much BC just default seeking the late game as Kiliardi earning his presence still in this game. This does look a little bit rough right now. Horsemen are finally going to turn up on that wood line. Wait, did he realize? Oh my god, he saw it when the final trees fell. That's so painful. Well, it would be a shame if the only unit you can use your landmark to produce costs wood. They do. I don't know what does Kiliardi do with this now? Is this happening? Are we casting a Beasty win? Is that legal? Am I getting a YouTube video praising me? I mean, I thought we were always meant to cast the underdogs, goddammit. What have I done? No, wait, guys. Kiliardi's playing Byzantines. He's still got this. And what's up, Puccio? Thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate you, bud. All he needs to do is somehow afford 30 Streltsy to win the game. Can I get 30 Streltsy? If he gets 30 Streltsy, I will eat a shoe. Oh, true. Yeah, I definitely just picked this game because it's clearly Beasty L. Tinfoil's hat on, but like I'm definitely just all out to get Beasty. I need to catch him with a million Ls. It's the only thing that makes sense in the world. Like, I'll be sitting there, like, in the dark, scrolling through AoE for Worlds, looking for the red on his name. And then when I get the red on his name, I jump up and down in my seat. I start frothing at the mouth. I make weird noises that make my neighbors have to check in on me to make sure I'm still okay. And then what I do is because I have to thank Relic for making it possible to catch a Beasty L, I have to set up a nice little candle, like pentagram on the floor, and I put a picture of Beasty in the center. And then what I do is I open up one of Genghis Khan's immolated cats, And I grab the liver and I say, and then the cat sets on fire and a beastie loss appears on AoE Full World. Wait a second, I just checked. I don't think it was a cat. Oh, it's a ferret. Oh, I didn't follow the recipe. Oh, no. Guys, I think we might not get a BCL. Ferrets instead of cats. It's amazing how one ingredient can ruin the entire plan. Yeah, BC's just locking in towards the back grove now. Kiliani's running around like a headless chicken trying to put the fires out. But, like, this is tricky, man. I mean, Desert Raiders just solves a lot of the issues. Yo, what is up, Bunny Soldier? Thank you much. Appreciate the sub. But yeah, Desert Raiders really just complicate the matter here, guys. And remember, they have the infantry support, which gives them extra armor for having infantry nearby. Limitane should be able to clear this wave. But, like, my worry at this rate is, like, does Kiliani have enough wood to keep remaxing Limitane Horsemen? Or does he just die because of a lack of wood? I guess he's still got woods here. This is Beastie territory, though. And is there actually much else? I mean, he's still working the food over here. That's about to run out. Grove count should be good enough to sustain him, though. All right, ones of you think Kiliani's going to win this, twos of you think Beastie is. Because now everyone's like, did he bait us? Is it actually like, did he do the ritual correctly? Did he kill a cat? The weird thing is, like, you want to try and bat the idea of Triumph because, like, Horseman Triumph at this stage, it's not bad. It's kind of like having elite army tactics on horseback. Because you're, like, what, 12, 13 base? And then you're upping it by 4, right? Which is over 20%. We have got BC punting away some of the villages, but that's not a bad thing right now. Like, he's military pop captain. Just got full cavalry. When are they going to add Janissary mercs to the game? That's what you need here to survive. So I'm not eating a shoe, by the way. It looks like he got up to, what, 11 or 12 Streltsy? And now he's just going to get shut down. Like, Desert Raiders actually trade okay into this, just because of the quantity difference. Kiliani, oh my god, the amount of horsemen just to kill a few horsemen here. This is getting frustrating, though. You know, at this point in the game, Kiliani doesn't really have any options. He's out of gold. 130 gold income a minute, just because that one relic, plus him finding an occasional worker kill with horsemen, is not going to cut it. Like, what he kind of needs is quality solutions, like Limitane plus, like, what, hand cannoneers? His Streltsy's a little bit too slow. Like, he's got 200 gold income a minute. He has cleared the first wave here, but Beastie's got another group on the way, and he did just get some upgrades coming through, so... What is there left on the map outside of wood? And no, he started trading? Okay, so if Kiliani can read this for what it is and start trading, he has a shot. Because, like, remember, right now, outside the Limitane, he's getting no value out of Palatine School. He might be able to make me believe. The thing you have to remember about the late game is, like, if he can solve for the lack of resources eternally, as in, you know, you're going to run out of wood, you need different options. The cool thing he has here is the Triumph being reproducible. Because in the late game, so many units die, you just keep getting Triumph Charge, Triumph Charge, Triumph Charge. And that could enable Cataphract spam in the hyper late. It's still really hard, guys, because Ayyubids will deal with the Cataphracts very well. High base damage means Camelanese is good. But it would at least give you a very meaty front line to then bolster, like, a Streltsy backline. But it all comes down to whether Kiliani can find trade. The problem is with, like, 181 gold... It's not exactly the count that encourages you to set trade up, is it? No. And then... Okay, this is an important switch, guys. Mass Gulam, Elite Army Tactics. If he can pull this off, like, get up to 25-30 without it being seen, it actually counters everything that Kiliardi has right now. Ghoulims, remember what we said at the start of the game? Like, in the late game, Ayyubids are actually a secret powerhouse via these two unit types. Ghoulims and the Desert Raiders. Desert Raiders is a very obvious one. We mentioned the free text, but where Ghoulims do so well, not only are they ridiculously pop efficient at 259 HP, but the double strike is handy against a lot of these bio units which have no armor. But then the final thing is, like, the double strike kind of enables you to quite quickly individually get kills. If you get kills, you get the Mamluk's Bravery. That's a 25% damage buff. And look at the damage you normally do on a sword shot. Desert Raider poke. I don't think you can call it poke when they hit this hard anymore, right? Like, at this point, this is just kind of brutal. This has always been the weird thing with the Desert Raider spam, is like, it looks very underwhelming until you flesh it out. You know what I mean? Like, when it's just 5 or 6, all of a sudden that sprinkling of damage just gets out of control. I mean, it's already pretty damn good in the late game, but I'm talking even early in the game. You know, like, I remember when the Desert Raider spam started to take over, and it almost looked like a meme at first. But once you get past, like, you know, 10, 15, they snowball out of control. And the late game, that's very easy to achieve and maintain. Beasty has, for some reason, gone back up to 140 eco. In fairness, though, like, 34 of it is camels. Camels that might get found. These Desert Raiders. Wait, does he have a single... 10 Ghoulims in there? Which, another little perk on top of everything we talked about. They're so hard to kill, it means the aura can't be sniped. So these camels get a lot of extra effective HP via the armor. Ghoulims are going to get swamped. Horsemen are rotating into the back here. Triumph has been activated as well. And remember, they do get bonus damage against the traders, but these traders are obnoxiously fast. Looks like the Ghoulim wave did actually get cleared up, so we'll force a retreat. But yeah, Beasty once again done a favor. He was way too high on eco. It's been reset a little, but he didn't really lose much military in the grand scheme of things, which means he's keeping a big reserve of resources to swing around. Like a bag full of cats. It always comes back to the cats. Trade posts suck on this map? I mean, but like if you have no gold, right? Like this is how trade should be. This is absolutely how trade should be, right? It shouldn't just be a default obvious choice because it's so good. Like these type of maps are the maps that we need more of. Trade should have incremental value, not excessive value. So that, like, you know, if there's gold veins on the map, that's still better to go for, right? But if you ran out of gold now, you need to play the late game. That's where trade makes the most sense. In fairness, for his comp, it gave him more than enough, right? It's not like he's trying to spam out camel lancers on mats. He's just going for Desert Raider and Ghoulims, which is 50 and 30 gold a pop. He's making his workers go pop. Dive through the olive groves. Kind of your worst nightmare when it's Desert Raiders, just because the A-click move is so effective. The ranged attacks. They shut down some of the farms. Meanwhile, the second wave is rallying on the Ford side. And Kiliardi, I mean, he has better food income. The wood is held up until now. But he's still trying to scale into these gunpowder boys. I think if Kiliardi can, like, hide them while he scales them, right, and just use cheap units to harass, if you can get up to, say, like, 40 hand cannoneers / Streltsies, pretty good fight, right? But we're still in a situation where he's not even achieved half that goal. Really, to just re-emphasize, it's so difficult these days to do max Streltsy. It used to be kind of broken easy. If you guys remember when Byzantines first came out, the mass Streltsy strat was ridiculous. It was out of control. That's why it got nerfed. I think it used to be 3 Streltsy per rotation. Now you only get 2. And they upped the cost of getting them as well. When you think about trade is the way I think about fishing. For me, it shouldn't be an obvious move, but an option. I mean, it's funny you say that because in the current meta, like, deer is just so much better than fish in most players' eyes. It's like, yeah, it's like, it's how it should be though. Like, there's a infinite resources shouldn't be the default best. Was this the default best choice for Beasty to dive? Desert Raiders get wiped, but what the? What happened to the Gulam count? Yeah, I thought this was meant to be like 20 as a front line, but it's just turning into a mass men-at-arms spam. And we did mention how good of an answer it is. I mean, look at the damage on these guys. With the Mamluk's Bravery, they hit for 30 and then 22 on the double strike. And that's enough to double strike him to the heart. GG gets called. The internet is broken. Something's gone wrong. You guys really thought you were about to watch a Beasty loss, didn't you?